Consistency. This is where the magic of success happens. In this video, I'm going to give you the #1 most effective strategy that I've seen in my clinic so you can be consistent with your lifestyle behaviors and get the success you want. And we're going to get started right now. Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Glenn Harrison and welcome to this week's segment of Why. This is where we take just a few minutes to answer some of the most common health-related questions that I see in my office every day. So the question today, and I've been out of the loop for a while, so if you're following this channel, I haven't posted for a while, but it's a relevant topic. It is the art and the strategy of being consistent. And it's a common question that I see in my clinic. In fact, it's the biggest obstacle that I see with lifestyle medicine. People get better, they start feeling great, and then they start falling off their lifestyle habits, and then ultimately their symptoms and disorders start to come back. So this is a very, very important video. I haven't been consistent with at least this aspect of my life, forming content and sending it out to you. So how do we be consistent? This is the million-dollar question. Well, the simple answer, the very simple answer is track. Track what you're doing, but that's not enough. A lot of people track, they don't do it the right way, they don't have the pieces in place, and then they don't get the success that they need, and then they get discouraged. So I'm gonna give you the right way to do it. I'm gonna actually give you a hack on how to do it at the end. There's a neat little hack that I personally use. So why is it hard to be consistent? Well, why is it important to track, I guess? Because our minds do remarkable things. They lie to us. We tend to remember what we did well, what we were consistent with. We exaggerate in our mind what we've done well, and we tend to ignore or forget the things that we didn't do well or weren't consistent with. And then to make matters worse, life has multiple distractions. So we're always being distracted from our path, from our habits, from our goals. So here's a few things that we can do, and I like these because I get my patients to do this all the time. And you know, when people come in, they might be doing some parts of their lifestyle might be accurate for what we found in their laboratory findings that they need to do, but they're only hitting about 30 to 40% of the success that they should. But when we start getting them to be consistent with these pieces, they hit 90 to 100%. It's really remarkable, and then they get their goals. They achieve what they want. They improve their health. So how do we do it? How do we do it effectively? Well, there's the first step, and again, some of this stuff is simple, but the first step is old school paper. Well, it doesn't have to be a paper, preferably a little paper book, a notebook. Paper is important because when you write it out, it's a lot more real for you than if you're looking at a digital. So we live in this digital age, which is really great on so many levels, but paper is king with this. So just bear with me on this. So step 1, get a little simple little notebook. That's number 1. Step 2, record the things that are challenging for you to be consistent with. You don't need to record everything, but maybe the top 3, the top 5 things that are the very most, because it's hard, it gets overwhelming. Usually 3 to 4 is the best. 3 to 4 things that are important to you that you're having a hard time to be consistent with. Only record the things that you're having a challenge with. That's very important. So record those things. The third thing is some details of how to record it. Don't put a bunch of detail in it. So if, I don't know, you're trying to record your diet and your foods, don't record so many ounces or grams or calories of this. There's places for that, but not with what we're talking about today. Just the foods you ate. That's if you're trying to track the foods. Make it as simple as possible, because the more complex and the more difficult you make it and the more detailed you make it, the less you're going the higher likelihood you'll fall out of recording it, which is the first habit. So minimal detail, make it easy, make it very, very easy for yourself, and always put the date. So get a book, there's the things you record, and then the third thing the third piece of it is find the specific time you're gonna do it. Determine the time you're gonna do it. If some days you do it at this time of the day, recording your lifestyle habits, and then another day it's another time, it's gonna be like this. And there's gonna be a higher likelihood you're not gonna do it. You want to turn this recording in your journal as like brushing your teeth in the morning. It's just what you do all the time, every day. Hopefully you're doing that every day or a few times a day. So pick a time. The best time that I've seen with my patients is the evening. Then you can reflect on the day and what you've done. If you start recording in the morning from the previous day, you'll forget the different things that you've done. So evening tends to be the best. So that's the time to record it. Okay. Now I'm making this very, very simple because little things change. What I have seen in my clinic is when people quit recording in their journal, life gets in the way. It always gets in the way. When they quit recording in their journal, the likelihood they fall out of their habits is much higher. Or when they fall out of their habits, they tend to not record because you don't want to record, I don't know, the bad things that you did or the bad foods you ate or whatever it is. You tend to not want to record it. Let this be a rule. You record it no matter what, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. And then there's another thing. If you're trying to record going to the gym, I've done this before until I'm on autopilot. So this is just a stepping stone for you, this journal. But I made the mistake of saying, didn't go to the gym. Don't do that. If you don't have a record of the behavior that you're wanting to pursue, maybe it's a walk every day, maybe it's the gym, maybe it's bedtime, whatever it is. If you don't see the details, went to bed on time. There's just a bunch of blanks as you look back at your week, well, then you know you never did it. If you record, I suck, or I didn't go to bed on time, or I didn't do this on time, what happens is it's like shame. It's a punishment for recording, and then it's a little bit of a psychological piece, but it is actually very powerful. I learned this from a psychologist, so it actually works. So those things, so we have our book, we have the details we want to record, we determine the time where we're going to record in it, and then a few other details. Now, there's a master hack with this, and I like this. So the problem with, imagine this is a book, and you fold it up. You only see your journal entries when you open the book. That's the only time you see them. So once a day is pretty good if you do that every evening. You're reminded by how well you're doing. Are you winning or are you losing? So the journal turns into two things. It turns into a record-keeping strategy, an accountability document for yourself, a self-accountability document. That's probably the biggest thing that it turns in. Then you start establishing one behavior, one pattern, one habit. And then your mind doesn't play tricks on you. It's remarkable how much we deviate from our behaviors, and we think we actually did good that week. I've done this. I've made all the mistakes. So there's a little master hack which I highly recommend to use. Now, for example, for the longest time I had a hard time to follow my sleep strategies, and I have a whole elaborate sleep routine that I do for my patients and I follow myself. And all I need to do, I know what it is. I know what I need to do, but all I need to do is put an S down, and that means, okay, I follow my sleep routine. But one of the best things to do is if you get an old school paper calendar, I know not too many people have those anymore, stick it on the fridge, or maybe it's already there, have it in a place that you always walk by and always see this. And if there's 2 or 3 things that you have a very hard time to commit to, write those things on your calendar. So when you walk past your calendar, you will see an S. That's actually what I did. Or a G means the gym, or W means walk, or whatever behaviors you're having a hard time to lock down. At a glance, when you're walking past the calendar, you'll see, is there lots of S's, or if there's lots of G's, or whatever it is. I'm just saying a letter, so you don't need to make it more difficult than it has to be. And you will see if you're winning or losing that week. Because the problem with these lifestyle habits is everything wants to interfere. And when we allow things to interfere, we deviate off our behavior and we lose the opportunity to get to the success that we deserve. It's not a lack of will, it's not a lack of strength, it's none of that. It's a lack of being consistent because of mostly distractions and self-awareness. So anyway, this is a very, very powerful, it's simple, but if you've got to follow these little strategies to be consistent and do it for 1 week. And in 1 week's time, you're going to see you're going to have a higher level of awareness of what you do, and you're going to be like, wow, I've done pretty good on this, and wow, I've really sucked at this. And that's what you need to know, because the difference between success or a lack of success can be just consistency. So anyway, I hope you found this helpful. If you are dealing with any health challenges and looking for answers, there's a link below. You can click that link and you can have schedule a conversation, a free 15-minute conversation with myself. We'll talk about your case and see if we can help. So anyway, I hope the video is helpful. I look forward to talking to you next day, because I'm going to be consistent, and we're gonna answer the why to another health-related question. We'll see you soon.